we were devastating at times on the counter, and they really found it hard to live with Kane and Son. They really did, and that's what I want to see. I've always been calling for it since Conte got appointed, having Son up central with Kane, and we saw the first signs of it yesterday, and it's very, very positive.
Yeah.
And I really liked what I saw. Obviously, different games will provide different challenges, but yesterday was definitely Conte's first big game in charge of Tottenham, and we were brilliant. We were absolutely only disappointment is we didn't win.
Yeah, it really was a disappointment that we didn't win. But, looking into it, before the game, right, anything above a battering or anything above a loss would have been a bonus for us. But just the case that, in hindsight, obviously, after playing so well, the chances that we missed. I mean, how many clear-cut chances did we have yesterday? In the first half, we could have scored about 3 or 4 goals alone.
Yeah.
I mean, Dele with that chance, Sonny, couple of chances, Harry Kane with a chance. I couldn't believe what I was seeing yesterday. I really couldn't.
Yeah, it was always more shocking that we created them than we were missing them, you know what I mean? And wasn't sure what was more shocking.
I know.
Because the chances we created were clear-cut chances. Yeah. Like, these are chances, like, every day of the week you're putting away.
We created more clear-cut chances yesterday than we probably did in the whole Nuno tenure.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And Liverpool just couldn't handle Kane and Son. Their link-up was really good yesterday. And I thought they were creating chances for each other at will. But it's just very disappointing because we should have really put them to bed. We should have been 3-0 up at half-time pretty much. Second half as well, Dele and Kane had a 2-on-1 against Alisson. They screwed that one up as well. Kane had another chance from a corner. We had so many opportunities to put them to the sword, and we didn't take them, and it was obvious we were going to get punished for it. It was obvious. We're never going to hold out for a 1-0 win or whatever it was. So that was the case. And you've got to say, Liverpool, for all their troubles at the back, they caused us some trouble as well, because you've got to remember, for the last 15 minutes, probably 10 minutes of this first half, we wanted the half to end, I would say.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? Trent had that chance at the back post with the volley just after they equalised. They looked like they were going to score again. And they all had their chances. Mane was causing Emerson a lot of problems down that left-hand side. And they did have a few chances as well, but not as clear-cut as we had.
Yeah, in terms of Emerson, I thought he was really struggling on the night. Mane, like you said, giving him endless amounts of problems. Probably should have given away a penalty, but I felt like he was definitely stifled for that early yellow card that he got in the game. And
yeah,
Mane really seemed to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think so. He kind of seemed hesitant a lot of the time, Emerson, when going in for challenges. He was the only positive I'd say about him is he kept getting down that right-hand side time and time again. His quality wasn't that great, but at least he was...
Kane once early on.
Yeah, but at least he was continually getting there on the right, but being an option. And that's very important, because if he stops doing that, all of a sudden it's very difficult for us to get out. It's very difficult for us to play out their press and find an option. So that was really positive, and hopefully the more time Conte has with him, the better he'll get with his quality. But he did struggle yesterday. He was probably our weakest player on the night, unfortunately for him. Mane, he really struggled, and I thought he was a few times... he had a really good opportunity to put a ball in the box and wasn't able to find any real quality a few times on the right-hand side. So he's got to improve that. But overall, if we go through the game, I think first half for Liverpool started strong, but then after about 10 minutes, we were brilliant. We're absolutely brilliant. Liverpool coming at us, we were just countering them every single time. I thought Winks was playing some brilliant balls over the top to Kane and Son. He was absolutely brilliant.
What a performance!
And the first goal wasn't actually, it stemmed from a counter, but it was actually more from Dele dribbling. It falls to he tries to play it through to Son, doesn't quite work out.
Goal.
Yeah.
It was from that Winks challenge, sliding challenge, right?
And then because that was after Dele did that little amazing run, wasn't it? And then Winks comes in the challenge, and it goes to Ndombele with a brilliant through ball, I thought, to Kane, and then a great finish. And then, after that goal, it all seemed to click for us. Son had that chance straight away, didn't he? After a minute, should be 2-0. Dele had that another chance, which was one of the saves of the season for me, from Alisson. Should be 3-0 at that point. We're creating opening after opening, but as soon as Dele missed that chance, I think they scored straight after that. You just got that feeling when Dele just misses that. You're like, are we going to get punished for this?
And as soon as they scored, they gained control of the game.
Yeah.
As soon as they scored. What?
He's on the phone. He's on the phone.
As soon as they scored, they can gain control of the game, right? So from about 25 minutes in, they gained control. And then, like you say, we really needed half-time. Liverpool were gaining ascendancy. And as soon as half-time came, Conte must have got into them second half in half-time, because we came out like we did in the first half of the first half, really. And I thought in the second half, we were really strutting our stuff again. Obviously, we weren't creating as many clear-cut chances as we did in the first half, but I thought the way that formation worked, with that three in midfield, with the Winks and Dele working so hard like they were doing, it was just sensational to watch. It really was.
And I think it's very important to notice that it wasn't just, we were aggressive and we were getting in their faces and we were on the counter-attack, we were great. But if it wasn't for me, I think the only way we were able to get in behind so often is because the quality of Dele, Winks and Ndombele, technically their passing ability, that was what was allowing us to find real quality passes in behind and allowing us to open them up. And in the second half, we did it again. It was actually Eric Dyer this time, finding a late run from Dele Alli. Yet again, another clear opportunity, but he screwed up the pass to Kane, which should have been a bit better, which would have got another goal. But I felt like when, because I thought, although Ndombele was giving the ball away a few times in the centre of the park, I felt like he was actually allowing us to beat the press quite often and allowing us to get up the pitch very quickly, and Winks as well. And because he was giving the ball away, I think Conte felt like he was forced to take him off, which I think most of the ground agreed with at the time. And he brought Skip on. And Skip obviously added a bit more steel in there. He wasn't giving the ball away in the stupid areas Ndombele was. But I did feel in that last 25 minutes, once Skip was on, we did lose a bit of, I don't know what it was, maybe impetus, a bit of urgency going forward. We did struggle a bit more once he came on to really hurt Liverpool and find the quality passes to Kane and Son. And especially when they went down to 10 men, we really did struggle to create chances. And although Lucas came on, I don't know, we made all three subs yesterday because Reguilon came on as well on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he came on the last few.
Could have maybe used a bit more guile potentially in that last 15 minutes or so. It was but it was unfortunate because of all the good play. When they're down to 10 minutes, thinking, okay, we're going to take him now. But unfortunately, it didn't quite happen like that. And that was a bit disappointing. So, I mean, there's two elements of a missed opportunity. There's all the chances we missed, and there's also those last 10 minutes when they're down to 10 men. So there's kind of two feelings for me when I think about the game in terms of missed opportunities. But, of course, before the game, I would have taken a point.
I was asking everyone on the fan show last night, your feelings coming into the game, right, is obviously like anything above a loss is a bonus, right? After seeing that game in hindsight, where we should have won the game, we had the most clear quality chances. Is that 1 point gain still for you, or is it 2 points dropped?
It's a tough one. I think it has to be 1 point gained just because we're playing Liverpool. So, you're right. At the beginning of the season, you probably put that down as a loss, and the fact we got a draw, you'd say it's a point gained. But how are we going to have a better opportunity of beating Liverpool than we did yesterday in a while? Probably not.
Season, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, and also not just that, they're playing them with Morton in midfield, who struggled. I felt badly throughout the game.
He did struggle, but in the first few minutes, he played a lovely ball over the top that nearly created a chance for them. I mean, he's got some quality, that Morton.
Yeah, but he's only 19, and I don't think he was ready for that kind of game. And I think they're clearly forced to play him. And I think we obviously did take advantage, but we're not with the result. And we're not going to play at Liverpool, even though we were also depleted. Reguilon wasn't playing, we had Sessegnon playing, we had no Skip wasn't starting.
Winks, Sessegnon on the pitch,
So we also had quite a makeshift team. I think their midfield was so weak. And that's why the 5-3-2 worked so well, is because we had, despite a much changed midfield, we had players like Dele and Ndombele and Winks who are probably, you probably say, technically they're very good players, and we were able to dominate that midfield battle in there against Milner, Keita, and Morton. And I think that's why it was so effective. And against Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago, would it be as effective? It'll probably be a lot more difficult for that midfield to dominate.
I mean, Thiago's been the standout player this season, hasn't he? He's really stepped up. And, yeah, they missed a lot in that midfield, Liverpool. But, look, at the end of the day, we had no Højbjerg and Skip, who we've been saying who have been imperative for us this season,
Yeah.
So our whole midfield were ripped to the core as well. So when you're looking at players like Winks, who really stepped up yesterday, Dele Alli, starting off with Harry Winks, I mean, I loved his aggressive nature on the pitch yesterday, because we know, like, every time Harry Winks plays, like, come on, man, get stuck in, play some forward passes, and that's exactly what he did yesterday. Yeah, I think he had most interceptions, most blocks on the pitch yesterday. The amount of times he was pinging the ball over the top to start attacks for us was absolutely sensational. And on the other hand, Dele Alli, right? Dele Alli was putting in such a shift, such a step forward for Dele Alli. I just felt he just looked a bit rusty in that final third. Dele. Obviously, with that chance where he should have gone the other way potentially, and a few other moments. I think there was a bit of a sloppy pass to, I think it was to Son or for Kane. I can't remember which one. And there was just a couple of moments in the final third where you know the Dele of old will be snatching at that chance and playing just a bit of a stronger ball to put us through. So I felt like everywhere outside the final third, Dele Alli was actually really good. But in the final third, just that bit of rustiness came through.
Yeah, if we talk about Winks first, I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and he really put on a performance to show a lot of the fan base, and especially the manager, that he definitely has a place in this team if he's up to it. And it wasn't just his tenacity, as you say, which was brilliant. He was putting in challenges left, right, and centre, and he really was putting a foot in, which I've criticised him for before. But I thought his quality on the ball, it wasn't just those beautiful long passes through to Son and Kane.
From over and over again,
we know he's capable of it. I know he's capable of it. We've seen it before.
Time and time again.
We've seen it before.
Yesterday.
He was doing it brilliantly on a plate as well. Just the quality was. There was one where he was literally midway through his own half, and he plays like a really early ball through to Son.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the one where Dele misses the chance. It was an absolute peach of a pass, and Son actually probably could have done a lot better with a few of the opportunities that he was presented with from Winks. But just talking about Winks, it wasn't just those long passes, but also the little short, quick 1-2s, quick passes into feet, crisp. He was accurate. He was confident. Winks looked like a new man yesterday, and I'd love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. I thought he was brilliant. And if he continues to play in that kind of form, then he's going to have a place in this team, 100%. 100%. As much as I love Skip, Skip's not capable of what Winks did yesterday. I don't think. I really don't think he is. Off the ball, I still think Skip's ahead of him, but on the ball, I don't think Skip can do what Winks did yesterday. Not yet, anyway. So I think there's definitely a place in this team for Harry Winks if he continues to play like that.
It's all about consistency at the end of it, isn't it? It's one game. So.
And he was playing against bloody Morton, Cater and Milner. So, you know, he's going to have more difficult centre midfield opponents. But if we can get performances like that on a weekly basis from Winks, no doubt about it, he'll be starting. Dele Alli, I thought he came in and he looked like whether he looked like he was putting himself in the shop window or he was trying to show Conte, I want to actually play in this team. I want to, there was no surprise. There's all this talk of him leaving, isn't there? It was really hotting up like in the past week, and then it was a real shock to everyone that he was the one put into the side, even with the injuries. We have Lo Celso on the bench, don't we? We have Lucas on the bench. They could have easily been in the side ahead of him. So.
It reminded me of that display. I think this display was actually better, but it reminded me of the display, cast your mind back a year ago when we played Fulham. And he had a really good display that game, and there was all talks hotting up of him leaving as well then. Yeah. And then didn't really do much after that.
Yeah. So I hope it's different this time, but I thought definitely much more suited in a 5-3-2 than he would be in a 3-4-3. I think because he likes being those central areas. He was clearly given more license to get forward and get in behind and make those runs that we haven't seen in a long, long time. And he was doing it so often. The chance that he missed with the Alisson save, the one where he should have set up Kane, the penalty as well. Those are just three times off the top of my head. I remember him running late in behind, and they're so hard to track from Dele Alli. And that used to be his forte. That used to be the best thing about him.
Do that in a long time.
So if he's bringing that back into his game, then for sure he's going to be very, very, very valuable player. But it wasn't just that. There was a few times where his dribbling ability, especially for the first goal, was in full show. He was in full flight at times, and we haven't seen Dele taking on players and beating players like he was yesterday, and he seemed like physically in a different place. The only thing I would say is final third bit rusty, and I also felt in the second half he was kind of regressing a bit into that Dele where he's very easily giving the ball away in the middle of the park, but it's not necessarily his passing, it's more he is not a very good shielder of the ball. He never has been, and he's very easy to muscle off the ball. And if he's trying to hold of players off, he finds either he finds it very difficult, or he's just not very, or he doesn't know how to do it. I feel like in the centre you have to be very good at holding players off, and I feel like when players get too close to him, it's very easy to get the ball off him, and that's one thing he has to, if he's going to play in that role, he's going to have to fix. And I think that definitely was a problem for him in the second half. But I thought definitely to make that kind of impact against a team like Liverpool was very impressive, I thought, and I thought he had a great game.
Yeah, there was a moment in the first half where he took it past like 2 or 3 men.
That was for the first goal.
That was for the first goal, right? So, I mean, look, Dele Alli, much improved performance. Again, like Winks, it's all about consistency.
And if we can get these players playing, that's the most crucial thing, because we know our first 11 is decent, like it's pretty good. I don't think like whatever, you can say what you want, but it's like we got a pretty good first 11. But then the whole question was our fringe players, when they come in, they always continually letting us down. They're always not stepping up to the plate, and we always tend to, the bad results a lot of the time start coming when we put in the fringe players. But if we can get games like this out of Winks and Dele and Ndombele and Sessegnon, we'll talk about Sessegnon in a sec, that's half the job, because that means all of a sudden we have a squad to pick from. And they have to start doing that on a consistent basis and start break into that first team and show the manager they can, not only are they fringe players, but they can actually play week in, week out in the first team, and that's the most crucial thing. And once we start thinking that, we've got a squad here, then you can chop and change, and you can kind of tailor what players you want to use to the opposition or what thinks best. But when they're not doing it, you kind of only have the players who are stepping up, don't you? You kind of only have a first step, and that was the problem. So I think really positive that those were the players performing well yesterday. Yeah,
and not only them, more fringe players stepping up as well. Ryan Sessegnon, in his first start in a very, very long time, I think since
in the Prem
2020 in the Prem.
Ooh, was it Norwich in that game all the way back in when Mourinho was in charge, probably, when back in 1920. I don't think he didn't play at all for us last season, did he? So
it was in 2020.
Yeah, so second half of the 2 seasons ago.
I think that's what it is. But him and Ben Davis, right, on that left-hand side were absolutely stellar. I mean, Mo Salah, did he even play yesterday, Mo Salah?
I was considering this is a player, right, who has got 15 goals and assists in 15 consecutive games. I think it's a record now, isn't it, or something? Didn't get one yesterday.
He equalled Vardy's record. He would have broken it against us.
Didn't get one yesterday, did he? I thought he was. I can't remember one chance he had, to be honest. He obviously got the handball for the goal. We'll talk about the big incidents in a sec. But yeah, he was so quiet. I don't remember a shot he had. I thought Davis and Sessegnon had him on lockdown. They looked a lot better than Sanchez and Emerson on the other side.
Oh, definitely. And a lot better. Yeah, definitely. 100% they did. And the thing is with Sessegnon, I felt at times he was doing to Trent what Trent does to other fullbacks, right? I felt he was pushing back Trent, kept pushing back Trent, and there was times where Trent was actually pinged back right in the right-hand spot role, and that is exactly. Do you remember in the preview we were like, this is what Trent and Robertson are going to do to our fullbacks? They're going to pin us back, blah blah blah. That's exactly what Sessegnon was doing to Trent. It was unbelievable.
Well, at times I thought Trent, by and large, actually
Trent had a good game, right? I'm not saying he did it the whole game, but at times it was happening, and Sessegnon was able to ping Trent back.
Yeah, he was, and there was a few times he was taking him on and getting the better of him as well, a few times, and it wasn't just once. And I was really impressed with Sessegnon, his confidence. He seems to be growing. Obviously, after a great performance against Norwich in our last game, when he comes on for Reguilon, I thought this is even more encouraging from him, and I'm so happy that he had a strong performance in a big game like this, because he needs that for his confidence. And all of a sudden, they're looking like there is light at the end of the tunnel for Sessegnon and how he is. He's just got to keep him fit, and he's got to keep battling with Reguilon. It'll be interesting to see what Conte does. Obviously, Reguilon's our number one, but if he puts him straight back in, or if he feels like Sessegnon's kept his place, we're interested to see what kind of team we play on Wednesday. But anyway, I'm so happy for him because he comes under a lot of stick and a lot of doubts, but played a great game.
It's just great to have two different options there, two really good options
Yeah.
there. That's the main point.
And he seemed quick and pacey again, and just confident. And he had a bit of quality as well. I remember right at the end of the first half, he beats Trent, and then he finds Harry Kane in the penalty area, and Kane's shot gets deflected wide. And it was really good. He has a bit of quality, and you got to remember this guy in the Championship did score a lot of goals, so he has shown that he has got quality if he can show it. So very happy for him. I don't think Reguilon unfortunately did too much in the last 10 minutes. Maybe didn't get an opportunity. It wasn't great.
Enough time. But I always felt like Spurs going into like even before the game, I was thinking Spurs going into the last stage of this game.
Yeah, it'll be difficult.
Struggle just because of the circumstances.
And in fact, they could have scored when Alisson,
it's a challenge from Sanchez,
but Alisson, what a ball that was to Tsimikas, right in behind, that was Scholes-esque from Alisson, and then they could have scored right at the end. But yeah, Sanchez made a couple of great challenges, but he also did a couple of really stupid things as well.
Sanchez, it was like so classic Sanchez yesterday. I mean, some great moments, then just some really, really like what the hell's going on here moments.
Yeah. And I tell you what, the ball for just before the goal, actually, just for the Liverpool's second goal, he plays an absolute peach to Dele Alli to play him through on goal. What a ball, Sanchez! Oh. What a ball that was from Sanchez. Like
I remember
back to his confidence himself. I was like,
wait
what?
A second, was that was
Sanchez? Yeah, that was Sanchez.
And Dyer
played the one where Dele squares it to Kane like poorly.
Yeah.
That was Dyer. That was brilliant. A ball!
Dyer made 2 or 3.
No, he was pinging them around. Dyer.
I mean, this guy, he's playing like a deep playmaker at the moment.
He is. He is. He's spraying some really good passes around Dyer. I'm really happy for him.
Dyer, man, his season is going from strength to strength to strength. Ben Davis, I mean, like we're saying with Mo Salah, I think it was mainly down to Ben Davis why Mo Salah was actually so quiet. I think he was sensational, Ben Davis, and that chance right at the end.
Yeah, should have shot.
That chance right at the end.
Did he? It looked like
I think
a cross.
He was caught in 2 minds, and it ended up going for a cross at the end, and there was no one there really to cross
it was only time really he found himself in that position throughout the game, because he's done that a few times this season, hasn't he? And again, really great. But it wasn't just his defensive. Again, I thought on the ball, he looks so composed. Because he's used to playing left back, he's used to having to like use his passing range a bit. So he's very comfortable on the ball, and you can see that when he's playing centre back, he's not afraid to pass the ball out the back, or when he's hurried into a clearance. He's not afraid to look for a pass in that situation, and he knows he has the quality to pick out a pass as well. And he was playing these lovely little short passes into feet, into the centre mids and into Session, which was really, really good to see. And that's why he's so good in that left centre-back role, because of his experience in left-back really, really helps him, and he's very good defensively. So another stellar performance from Davis. Hasn't put in a bad game since Conte's come in. Another great performance from him. We'll talk about the top 2 now in Kane and Son. Linked up really well, but unfortunately, they'll both be... I think them two and Dele will all be having sleepless nights about the missed chances they missed. I think as much as Kane and Son will walk away with that with a goal, the chances they missed, they'll be thinking what could have been. That's how they'll leave it, I think.
I felt with Heung-min Son, right, he was very energetic. He provided for the team really well, but I felt in the crucial moments he couldn't control the ball properly.
Happened
it kept
a few
bouncing
times.
off him, heavy touches. Look, with all his work, he deserved that goal because of how hard he worked during the day and his link-up play and stuff like that. But there were just some pivotal moments where the ball kept bouncing off, and it was just really frustrating with Sonny yesterday.
Yeah, well, he had that chance where Kane sets him up just after we scored the first, and he just miscues it. It was actually quite funny because it was literally... I do remember when we beat Liverpool, the last time we beat Liverpool, actually, when we beat them 4-1 at Wembley, Kane pretty much plays an identical ball to Son, and he hits it on the half volley right into the bottom corner. And this time it was pretty much identical, but Son just couldn't turn this one in. And it was such a shame because it was a good ball by Kane, although he could have maybe done it along the ground. He did it a bit in the air, but I think still good enough ball that Son should be scoring that. A number of times Son was through on goal, and he just takes a bad touch or miscontrols it and wasn't able to get a shot on goal. But But there was one moment where he looked like he'd screwed up, and then he plays an absolute delightful ball to Dele.
Yeah.
What a ball that was. What a pass. Right on the plate for Dele, he should have scored as well. But especially most of Son's chances came in the first half where he was really getting in behind. And then obviously Dele had all those chances. But I thought him and Kane, it was the first time in a while we've seen that link up between them.
Since Jose's left.
Yeah, it's the first time in a while. So I'm really happy that link up seems to be back. And I think them two up top in a two was really working for me yesterday. They were a lot of the times it was actually them two versus two centre backs, because Robertson and Trent are just so aggressive with their forward runs that as soon as Tottenham turned it over, if we can get
the legs as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. But if we could get the ball quick enough forward, we could have a 2-on-2, and it happens so often. And Son and Kane were getting the better of them, Konate and Matip, time and time again. We were just outdoing them on the back, and that's encouraging, because it reminds me of Martinez and Lukaku, you know what I mean? It reminds me of when the last partnership he had. That was how devastating it was. And there are signs there that this one could be equally as devastating in the future. And we know that they have great link-up, and they've already got a great relationship. So as long as they're getting fitting into this Conte system, how it is, teams should watch out. But should we go? Let's talk about the big incidents then. So first of all, the Harry Kane challenge in the first half. Is that a red card for you?
Yeah, for me it is. Yeah,
I think it's a strong challenge. I think if you look at it, I think he's lucky. I think he's very lucky not to have avoided a red card. But it's one of those where, like, a couple years ago, you probably don't even think about, but because in this day and age,
what are you talking about? A couple of years ago, you're talking about like the 90s or something?
No, I'm literally talking, maybe not a couple, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Like that challenge, probably you don't even, because he actually doesn't go with his studs. Because he goes one-footed. He actually goes with the he actually doesn't make any contact with his studs. It actually isn't as dangerous as a still frame might make it look. But in this day and age, when you go that kind of, because he's slightly off the ground, you have to say he's lucky not to have got a red.
To be honest, I think it was a clear red. To be honest, I really did. I don't know why they didn't go back and give the red card. I really don't understand it. And there was a similar one, well, not a similar one, but there was one in the Arsenal game as well with Granit Xhaka.
That one was a bit more over the top, I felt, actually, than Kane's one. Because Kane went with one foot.
They're both red cards at the end of the day, and both of them get no action whatsoever. I don't get what VAR are looking at. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah. Kane, I think he's lucky. He's lucky not to get a red card.
All these salty Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans going mad about Harry Kane's challenge yesterday. First of all, I don't know what any business it is for Arsenal fans. I don't know why they're going mad about it, but Liverpool fans going mad about it, right? They have very short memories, because Robertson a couple of years ago or last year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium did something worse and didn't get sent off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, these things happen in football. Doesn't make Harry Kane a cheat. Doesn't make this one that. The ref
it's not
just
a
made
cheat, it's the ref. It's not on Harry Kane to send himself off, is it?
It's ridiculous, some of the abuse that's coming in for Harry Kane after
Yeah, you get it. Liverpool don't like Harry Kane, do they?
Yeah.
They never have. After he dived all those years ago, they said he dived. But so yeah, I think it was a red. But I think he probably got away with it because he went in with the side of his foot, and also Robertson jumped, which probably made it look not as bad as it was, probably, the challenge, actually, in a weird way. Because if Robertson doesn't jump, the challenge would look a lot worse. Actually, because he probably would have been injured from that. The next big incident was Jota penalty in the first half.
I think it was, yeah.
Where Jota's about to have a shot, Emerson goes in the back of him, and bundles him over, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was a clear penalty. Again, clear penalty. I don't know what the ref is doing, and to be honest, I think, we all saw what Klopp did after the game, went straight up to the ref going, I don't have a problem with any other ref apart from you. Klopp was very incensed after the game, and I could see why, because those were two big key decisions throughout the game where you're saying if those two decisions go Liverpool's way, they probably go on to win that game.
Is it one VAR should be getting involved with, do you think? Or is it one where it's not clear and obvious and it's kind of subjective to the ref's decision?
I don't think it is. I think it's clear and obvious. I think that... doesn't see any of the ball, barges the man straight over. I don't see how it's not given.
The ref said after the game he thought Jota stopped so that Emerson would bundle him over. That's why he didn't.
He said?
Yeah, that's why he didn't give it.
He thought
Jota was gonna was running, and then he I don't know if he noticed, but he thinks Emerson's behind him, so he just stops and makes sure Emerson goes into him because Emerson's obviously running, and that's why he doesn't give it.
It's an interesting one. But to be honest, I tell you the truth, I haven't seen it since like live. A few replays I saw, and when I saw it, my first instinct was like, that is 100% a penalty. We've got away with one here, big time.
I think it's a penalty. I think it's one of those where it's probably touch and go for VAR to get involved. I think ref should have given it, but that's why the ref's decision actually still holds a lot of weight, even with VAR, because if it's not a clear and obvious decision on the cameras, then VAR can't get involved. So in that kind of instance, I think we're lucky, but I think should VAR get involved? I think probably not. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's difficult.
What did you make out of the Dele Alli one?
Yeah. So the next one was just for the second goal was Dele Alli. I've seen it again, and he does get a bit of a shove in the back from Trent, but it would have been a soft one.
Is it enough, that shove in the back though? Because he has his hands on him, yeah, but I'm not sure if there was too much of a shove there.
Yeah, I have to see it. I've only seen it once again.
I thought it was weak.
It was a weak shout. I thought
like VAR.
Winks probably had a better shout. I thought actually.
Which is the Winks one?
Winks was fouled by Matip in the second half. Right, it was literally on the line on the penalty area. It was also a weak one, but he probably had a better shout than Dele for a penalty there. He was kind of shoved over, but I don't think VAR can get involved in that one. For Dele's one, I've seen them given. I don't think VAR overturns it if referee gives it. You know what I mean? If referee decides that's a penalty, I don't think VAR is going to go, no, it's clear and obvious, not a penalty. Like, it could have been given because Trent has his hand on him, and so gives a decision for the ref to make. Like, because Trent's not near the ball, is he? So he does have the decision to make, but I think it would have been a soft penalty. If that's against me, I would be fuming.
Yeah,
I'll be fuming. So, but the goal. I know the goal they scored, Liverpool's second goal. I know the rule. The rule nowadays is if an accidental handball is not by the goal scorer,
from Salah,
in the lead up to the goal,
Salah's
then it has to be allowed.
Yeah.
But he does pretty much control it with his hand, doesn't he?
I'm trying to remember it, to be honest. It was
literally just before they scored.
Yeah, I mean, he controls it with his hand. I mean, didn't the ball just come and hit him on his hand, or do you think he controlled it with his hand? I mean, I can't really remember it.
Well, it hits him, but he does control it. Like, it helps Liverpool. Like, it took it down. It was accidental, but he does take it down with his hand.
I mean, the rule is that if it's accidental, if it's not
the goal scorer,
yeah.
If it's in the lead up to the goal, it's fine. If it's not the goal scorer, if it's the goal scorer, it gets ruled out. So that's the rule. But does it sit right with you that goal's allowed?
I mean, when I was watching it, I remember having a chat with Brains about this, and we both were kind of in acceptance of the rule, saying the goal probably should still stand.
It's just difficult when we had the Dele penalty and then that handball, and then he goes in. It's like you're thinking it's all against you, all gets allowed, but. Yeah, I guess that's the rule. That's the rule, but I don't know.
The rules at the end of the day. Maybe if the rules are wrong, if the rules are right, like
are the rules right or wrong?
That's a different question. But
should that be allowed? That goal?
Should it be allowed? Probably not, because you can't just have any player that if it's his hand, the goal's allowed. I don't understand how that's the rule. But
this is a response to, if you remember, this is pretty much all happened.
There needs to be some middle ground somewhere. You know what I mean?
Because of that goal that Tottenham scored. Dyer. Actually, who scored it? No, not Dyer. It was when we played Fulham that one time. That
goal.
We conceded. It was because what happened was Sanchez was clearing the ball and the Fulham player was closing him down, and while he clears the ball, the guy has a hand by his side, but it hits his hand and deflects to a Fulham player and scores, and he got ruled out because of a handball. And everyone was saying, oh, it's ridiculous, how can they rule that out, blah, blah, blah. And they literally changed the rule, but on the back of that saying, oh, if it's an accidental handball, it's allowed as long as it's not the goal scorer. And now you've got instances like this where Salah's goal is being allowed. I think in that instance, like, when you're literally controlling the ball like that, I don't know, I feel like it should be ruled out.
Wasn't it that penalty that we gave away with Eric Dyer? The rule got changed after that.
That was a different. That did, but that was for that was for handball being penalised in the penalty box, not for goal scoring handball.
Rules only get changed after.
Yeah, literally only when
in our game.
Exactly, that's all that happens.
Just like the top 4 thing as well. But,
yeah. That happened.
I think everything needs to be. There needs to be a clear kind of. I mean, there is a clear rule on it, but I think there needs to be more like a subjective decision on the pitch from the referee to make a clear decision. You know what I mean? Because we can't have just like anything can be kind of misconstrued as like accidental. You know what I mean? On a football pitch. So I mean, it's very difficult to make those kind of decisions, and I think VAR probably should be getting involved a bit more. But I think in that instance, I think because of what the ruling is, there's nothing we can really do on that.
And then last one, the Robertson red card.
Yeah,
that's got to be a red, doesn't it?
Definite red. I mean, the guy took chunks out of Emerson's legs,
and he was nowhere near the ball. Like you can't even say he was going for the ball. He was so he just basically took a swipe at Emerson. It looked like pretty much. Yeah, and it was a horrible challenge. And like, I think in that kind of instance, if he gets a bit of the ball or something, like I think he probably gets away with it. But because he was just nowhere near the ball, like it just comes across as if he just got up to Emerson and kicked him, basically.
That's what it
so
looked like.
I think when you make no attempt, like in Kane's one, at least like he got the ball. Like I know it was a bad challenge, and probably him getting the ball might have saved him as well, Kane as well. But for the Robinson one, it was nowhere near the ball. He wasn't even going for the ball. And when you make no attempt to get the ball and you make a challenge like that, you can't expect anything else but a red card. And I think that was the right decision.
The ref made the right decision, went back to look at it. And, I mean, once he went to look at the screen, you knew it was going to be a sending off, didn't you?
Yeah.
You just knew. I mean, when you were in the stands, obviously, yesterday, did you see it straight away?
No, I didn't. I obviously, it's difficult to see it when you're at the ground. It looked like a strong challenge, and he gave a yellow, but I didn't. But was actually what Ricky had it on his phone, and he was rewinding it. And he would show you. I was like, yeah, it's a red. Yeah. So I was during the VAR challenge, I was seeing it. So I think he got that one right. But Klopp was really angry at the ref, wasn't he, after the game yesterday?
I think rightly so, to be honest. I mean, Klopp, to be honest, he always gets like this whenever they have a negative performance or a negative result.
Although I didn't like what he said about how he... I don't know, maybe he was just bitter about the result, but he was like, oh, Tottenham, they just defended and knocked the ball long.
Yeah, and
and get on there, and Kane and Son got on their bike.
Actually had more long balls than us during the game.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that. So, look, I just thought he was very bitter about the result, about what happened, bitter. Because I thought I think they had some good opportunities as well, but I thought at the back, tactically, they got a bit outclassed yesterday.
Look, I just felt like we were the better side on the day, and we deserved the win. You've got a lot of circumstances. What do you make out of Klopp? I think Klopp was complaining about playing the game. I mean, he was the one saying...
He was complaining about playing the game.
Yeah, he was complaining about the circumstances, about how a lot of their players weren't ready and not fit because of COVID and all this kind of stuff. We're the ones coming back after 13 players coming down with COVID and stuff like that. I just didn't get it. And he was the one saying a few days ago how the Premier League needs to go on.
Yeah, I'm just reading now. He says we play Wednesday, Sunday, now Tuesday. It's not possible without the players. But he was the one... saying they want to play.
That's what I'm saying.
Before, it was weird.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense that he's now complaining after saying he wants to play. So, I don't get what. I think they've got a lot of players who have gone down with positive cases. I think he has a right to be angry about the game being played. But why say on Friday, oh, we want, we don't want the game to be postponed, we want the game to go ahead, We're happy to play, and then all of a sudden come out and say, oh, it's a disgrace that we were forced to play. Like, I don't understand. You just said you were happy to play. Yeah. Like Brendan Rodgers, before the Spurs game was very clear. Look, we don't want this game to go ahead. We've asked the game to be cancelled. It's been rejected by the Premier League. He made his stance firm. So when he's like upset that the game's going ahead, he's made it clear that he doesn't want it to go ahead. But like Klopp, he's saying in the media, we haven't heard about the game being cancelled. We want the game to go ahead. We're happy to play. And all of a sudden he's come out and saying...
He was being a bit of a sore loser yesterday, Klopp, but I can see why he was aggrieved with some of the decisions made throughout the game. Because I thought the quality of refereeing yesterday was pretty poor.
Yeah, in general, I agree. But with Kane scoring, is he back now?
bit early to say that, but it was definitely a good performance yesterday. Took his goal really well. I would have said maybe if he scored 2 or 3 goals like he should have yesterday, then he's back. But look,
Do you not think he'll start scoring now?
I hope so. But I said the same after he scored against Newcastle.
I know, but this is
whatever it
different.
was.
This is different.
It's
Isn't
different.
it? Does you not think it's different?
Why is it different?
Because Conte's here and he's looked like a
Look,
different
it'll
player.
be different if he scores game after.
Do you not think it's different though? Like looking at him.
Look, he's playing a lot better. He's played a lot better
That's my point.
since Conte has come in. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So maybe in that sense, yes, it's different. But we all said under Nuno when he scored that goal, all he needs is 1 goal and he'll start.
Yeah, but
scoring
that was
again.
just hope. Now I'm just seeing it. Do you not see it with your eyes?
It's still just hope.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. You can see a difference. You not see a difference.
There is a difference.
So it's not just hope
But it's
then.
1 goal only still in
Doesn't-
4 or 5 games.
Doesn't matter.
Of course it matters because you need to keep consistently scoring. Look, you can say it's like, yes, he's playing a lot better. Fine, he's playing
Yeah.
a lot better, but he's still not scoring a lot. He scored 1 goal now since Conte has come in. And I just want to see him now consistently do it, and I back him to do it.
Yeah, so I'm saying, do you not think he'll start scoring now?
But I thought he would do that under Nuno.
But do you think he will now?
I thought he would do it under Nuno.
I'm
and
just
I think
saying,
he'll
but
do
do
it.
you-
No, yeah, I'm
yeah.
always going to back Harry Kane to
There
do
you
it.
go. That's all I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
like Harry Kane is a top player,
Yeah.
but we can't say that he's back until he does it.
All right, now I'd say he's back, but I think yesterday was a massive step in the right direction for him, and I'm
But
very
yesterday
happy
was a
for him.
massive step in the right direction for the whole team.
Correct.
not just Harry
Exactly.
Kane.
That's what I've always said, though. That's what I've always said. Once the team starts functioning, you will see a different Harry Kane. How that chance he scored, how many chances has he even had like that, like recently? Like not that many.
Well,
like
he's had quite a few clear-cut chances.
they have.
against Harry Kane.
The team hasn't been creating that many chances. Since
he has
Conte's
had his
come in, we have.
chances,
Under Nuno, we just weren't creating.
Yeah, under Nuno, fair, but under Conte, he has missed a
Yeah, he's had a
fair
few
amount of
chances, but we haven't had that many chances throughout the whole season. Like he just hasn't. Like we haven't been creating. And I always said, once the team starts functioning, you'll see a different Kane. I'm certain of it, and it's more. And for me, it's more proof of it yesterday.
Yeah,
so
look,
I'm very
I
happy
think
with him.
there's no doubting Harry Kane's quality, but it all counts to consistency, right? We need to see him scoring like he used to, bring up the same numbers he used to, consistently week in, week out, be that goal threat, score those goals, put the goals in the back of the net, provide some assists, and be the world-class player we know he is.
Correct. And I back him to do it. I think he will do it.
we all do now.
I think he will. Yeah, especially after what I'm seeing now, especially now because
Even
we're
John Cooper can't say he
and it's
didn't
not
play
and
well
it's not
yesterday.
just not just Kane playing well. We need the team to be playing well, and Kane will be a consequence of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we saw yesterday. It wasn't just Kane playing well; it was the whole team were playing well. And Kane will be once the team start playing well, the Kane will be part of that. I'm sure of it.